Have you ever wanted to be invisible, not just as a superpower, but as a shield? Have you ever walked down your school hallway, wishing that you could just disappear so people who hurt you could not see you anymore? Have you ever sat at your desk at your school, keeping your eyes glued to the floor, praying that nobody calls your name, laughs when you speak, or just simply notices that you exist? Today we are going to talk about bullying, but we are not going to give you textbook definitions or polished statistics. We are going to talk about bullying as the silent and quiet breaking of the human spirit. We are going to mention the words which leave no physical bruises, but still replay in a person's mind every single night before they go to sleep. Bullying breaks the spirits, it isolates us, and yet it still happens every single day in the movies we watch, in the books we read, and in our own classrooms too. In this episode, we are going to tear down the walls around this topic. We are going to look at the psychologies of the victims, the bullies, the bystanders, and the upstanders. I want you to know what the bystander and the upstander is. The bystander is a person who sees something wrong happening and prefers to stay out of it. And the upstander is a person who sees something wrong happening and decides to help the victim. We are going to show you real stories and real numbers from a study which we did right here in Georgia, and try to understand how this silent epidemic is playing out in the world. But before we look at the rest of the world, it is important to look in the mirror and see what problems and challenges we have in our own home country. And to start us off, I will pass my mic to my friend who is going to talk about the reality of bullying in Georgia.
We did an online survey and the results are very interesting. The answers show how different people may act when they see or experience bullying. The results show that 2 people gave mostly A answers, which means that they might act like a bully or treat others harshly. 21 people gave mostly B answers, which means that they might have been bullied before. 38 people gave mostly C answers, which means that they may experience bullying or see bullying, but choose to stay out of it. And but luckily, the biggest group by far, 122 people, gave mostly D answers, which makes them bystanders. And that means that they love to help other people, stop unfairness, bullying, and spread kindness.
But as we look at our own home country, it is important to understand that bullying is a global fire which burns through the lives of people in every part of the world. For instance, take the country like the United States, which is best in many aspects, but it still has a big problem of cyberbullying, which tears at children regardless of where they live, and it never leaves them in their own bedrooms too, leaving no safe haven for them. And also South Korea. I think you have watched many TV shows, many South Korean TV shows, which are about bullying, and they really show how brutal it can be. And this already speaks about how this problem is like in South Korea. There is a word in South Korean language which describes this phenomenon, brutal school violence. It's hopkom. And we have also searched a video on the internet which is about bullying in South Korea, where the author objectively evaluates this raw and painful reality which South Koreans have in their own schools. So let's watch this video now.
კორეის სკოლებში უფრო მეტი ბულერია, ვიდრე მსხვერპლი. ქვეყნის ეროვნულმა კვლევამ დაადგინა, რომ მოსწავლეების 10.2% ბულერია, ხოლო 5.8% მსხვერპლი. მაგალითისთვის ეს ციფრები ნორვეგიასა და ინგლისში პირიქითაა. ხშირ შემთხვევაში მსხვერპლები 3-4%-ით მეტნი არიან, ვიდრე ბულერები. კორეა და იაპონია ერთ-ერთი ქვეყნებია, სადაც ბულერების რაოდენობა უსწრებს მსხვერპლებისას. ამის მიზეზი ის საკმაოდ კომპლექსურია. ბანკ არის კორეული ტერმინი, რომელიც აღნიშნავს ჯგუფურ ბულინგს, როდესაც 3-დან 10 კლასელამდე ან კიდევ მთლიანი კლასი ერთ მოსწავლეს აბულინგებს და ეს კორეელი მოსწავლეებისთვის სრულიად ნორმალურია.
ასეთ საზოგადოებაში მსხვერპლად ყოფნა არ ექმება, უცნაურად და გამორჩეულად და არა პირიქით.
ასეთი ბულინგის მთავარი მიზეზი გახლავთ ის, რომ კორეელი მოსწავლეები საშუალო სკოლაში მთლიანი ერთი წლის განმავლობაში ერთ საკლასო ოთახში რჩებიან. მასწავლებლები ეცვლებათ, მაგრამ მოსწავლეები არ იცვლებიან. შედეგად ბულერების 65% ერთი და იგივე კლასიდანაა.
2006 წელს გოგონებმა ჩონგჯუს საშუალო სკოლაში თავიანთ თანაკლასელს დაუწვეს ცალი ხელი გაცხელებული უთოთი. ამის შემდეგ მათ გოგონას ბეისბოლის ჯოხი რამდენჯერმე ჩაართვეს თავში, როდესაც ის საკლასო ოთახში იყო და მასწავლებელი იქ იმყოფებოდა. გოგონას ასასვლელი არც არ ჰქონდა, ამიტომაც კლასში ჰიჯდა და ელოდებოდა, როდის დაასრულებდნენ მის წამებას.
ბოლოს ის ჩაკეტეს ოთახში, საიდანაც ის ვერ გამოვიდოდა.
And finally, we look at Japan, the country where bullying is so deeply rooted into the social structure that it leaves scars on entire generations. And actually, we did not mention Japan by accident because there is a magnificent and extraordinary book, Japanese book, which is called Heaven by Kawakami. And this book is also about bullying and the dark reality of bullying in Japan. We chose this book particularly because it is special and different from other books, literary works, in terms that in this book the author shows both perspectives, the abuser side and the abused side, and tells us how do they feel when they do what they do. And I think that will be very interesting to discuss now.
We became deeply curious about how the students in our own community would react to these harsh themes. So we asked some of our schoolmates to read this book, and two of them wanted to share their thoughts and insights about this story. Hello, my name is Mariami. When we look at bullying, we always try to find a comforting excuse. We tell ourselves that bully must have a bad home life or that deep down they feel guilty. But Mieko Kawakami's masterpiece, Heaven, tears that lie away. There is an unforgettable moment in the book where the victim finally comforts his bully and asks the ultimate question. Why? Why are you doing this to me? The answer he gets is chilling. There is no remorse. The bully does not even hate him. To him, the world is divided into the strong and the weak. He does it simply because he has the power and because the victim is vulnerable. Think about how terrifying that philosophy truly is. It means that bully's truest weapon is not anger, it's complete indifference. They look at another human being's tears and feel absolutely nothing. To them, your pain is not evil, it's for entertainment. They believe that if you are weak, it's your destiny to suffer. Kawakami calls the book Heaven, but it describes a living hell, the complete erasure of empathy. When a bully looks at a victim, they don't see a person with a soul. They see an object. According to this bizarre philosophy, we live in a world where the strong are allowed to break the weak, and there is nothing bad about it. Now let us step away from the bully's philosophy and step into the shoes of the one who has to carry the pain.
Hello, my name is Marioniani and I'm 10th grader. Imagine waking up every single day knowing that your body is a target. Imagine walking into a classroom where your only crime is just existing. In the book, the protagonist does not have a weapon, he does not have a voice, and he does not have a single person to turn to. He is entirely, utterly alone. When he stands near the hospital looking at the person who tears his life apart, his arguments are not filled by anger. His arguments are filled by an unbearable, exhausting despair. He asks, "What did I do to deserve this? Why is my existence a joke to you?" His biggest torment is not just the physical beatings. It is a shame. It is an absolute degradation of having his dignity stripped away while everyone else watches and does nothing. He carries a pain so heavy that it makes him feel like he should not even belong in this world. He absorbs the blows, he hides his tears, and he begins to believe the lie that maybe, just maybe, he is a problem. To the bully, it is just a game, but to this boy, it is a daily fight to keep his soul alive. He is not just surviving bullying, he is surviving the slow, painful erasure of his own humanity. When you listen to his story, you don't just feel pity, your heart breaks because you realize that no child, no human being should ever have to pray for their own instability just to survive the day.
In the book Heaven by Kawakami, the main character is a 14-year-old boy who suffers from terrible bullying just because he has a lazy eye. He is being bullied by his classmate Ninomiya and other bullies, and because everyone else does nothing about it, he starts to feel a deep sense of shame and even starts to believe the terrible lie that he might deserve all of this pain. He has no voice to fight back, and his only wish is to become completely invisible just to survive. But his life changes when he meets Kojima, a girl who is also bullied. Her friendship gives him great comfort, and he is no longer completely alone. She believes that their suffering has some kind of spiritual meaning and they should just accept the pain. And for a while the boy follows her ideas because it makes him feel better. The turning point comes when the bullies attack them violently and Ninomiya tells boy the cold truth. There is no deep reason for the bullying. They just do it because he's a weak target, and this changes everything for the boy. He finally realizes that being passive and accepting the pain will not save him. At the end of the book, he makes a big decision to get surgery to fix his lazy eye and takes control of his own life. Through this journey, the book teaches us many things. It teaches us that cruelty is often senseless and suffering has no reward. It also shows how dangerous it can be when society stays silent. But most importantly, when the boy finally looks at world with his straight eyes, he teaches us that we must face life clearly, without shame, and to find the strength to choose our own future.
Yes, but the boy is not the only one who is going through this hell. There is also a girl which you have already mentioned, Kojima. And when we read her torment, it's really hard to read actually, because her bullying is so brutal when you read it. They didn't just hit her, they forced her to eat trash from the floor. They locked her away. They mocked her poverty and they started laughing at her filthy and dirty clothes. And in the ultimate, they stripped her completely naked in the street, showing her innocent body to the world. And try to reduce her to absolute nothing. And when we read this, we have a logical question. How can a human being endure so much pain? How can a young girl endure so much? And the answer is that Kojima did not really fight back, and she didn't beg to. The thing that she did was the thing that shocked many readers and broke hearts to many pieces for many too. And what she did is that she embraced her suffering, and she started to turn her agony into her identity. She started wearing dirty clothes on purpose to irritate her bullies. And I think this lifeline was a rope around her neck, because in the end, when she was stripped completely bare, she was completely traumatized and left broken. And the most importantly, she was separated from the boy who understood her. That boy was the only person who could understand what pain Kojima was going through. And when we read about her, we weep, not because we just feel bad because of her sad story. We just don't want to imagine that any child in the world has to view its destruction as its own, as its only purpose in life.
Now let's shift our gaze to a different story, one that offers a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness, the movie Wonder. This movie introduces us to Augie Pullman, a younger boy who is born with several facial medical differences. When he first steps a foot in a regular school, he quickly becomes the target of bullying just because of the way he looks. People isolate him, they whisper and they stare. But Augie is not completely alone. He has a firstly loving family, a sister who protects him, and eventually a few true friends like Jack, Will, and Summer, who look past his physical appearance and see the beautiful soul inside him. They become his shield, and they show how vital an absender truly is.
Yes, and what makes Wonder so powerful is that how August's journey of bullying actually concludes. He does not win by fighting back with violence. Instead, he chose a sheer resilience, which really worked, because in the end, the bullies start to realize that their cruelty is a reflection of their own insecurity, and because of that, the school culture, which was based on exclusion, shifts from exclusion to celebration and tolerance, culminating when Augie gets the most prestigious school award at the end of the movie. And Wonder teaches us that kindness is contagious, and you should always try to help other people if you have the chance to do that. And if you will ever be in a situation to choose kindness or cruelty, you should always choose kindness, no matter what the situation is.
As we come to end of this journey, we want to leave a message for everyone listening, directly addressing 4 sides of this crisis. To the bully, cruelty is not a strength, it is a mask for your own emptiness. True power is in lifting people up, not breaking them down. To the bystander, your silence is a choice that protects the abuser. Break your silence, because your indifference is a weapon. To the upstander, you are the heroes of our school, never tired of spreading kindness because your courage saves lives. And to the victim, your pain is real, but it is not your destiny. You are not the problem, and you do not deserve to be invisible.
Bullying wears many masks. There are many types of bullying in this world. We have social bullying, which excludes people from the society. We also have verbal bullying, when the victim is struck with insults. We also have physical bullying, which leaves scars on our skins. And the new type of bullying, cyberbullying, which comes with you wherever you go through a digital screen. In my opinion, no matter what the form or the type of bullying we have to deal with, the effect and the results are always the same. It breaks the spirits of humans. And it is very important for you to understand that words cut just as deep as the blades, and exclusion hurts as much as the blow. And in the end of our podcast, I want you to remember one thing. Be kind, for everyone you meet in your life is fighting a harder battle. Your words have power, and the choice is only yours. You can save someone's lives or you can destroy it.
We now want to leave you with a video dedicated to those who lost their lives to this silent epidemic. To every victim out there and to every soul we lost, we see you, we hear you, and we stand in absolute solidarity with you. You are not alone.